Hello, this is a short instructional video covering the time entry process for the West Virginia Personal Options Program with PALCO. We're going to go over several things involved with the Connect system and show you how to get registered, how to log in, how to complete time entry, and what to do if you are using EVV, and what to do if you are exempt from using EVV, and then how to submit your time over for approval. And then I will log in as the employer and show the employer how they will approve that time and submit that over to PALCO. So first, let's begin with registration. Once you go to the PALCO Connect website, you will go to Register Now, which is located under the login page here at the top. So you'll click Register Now, and then you will use the email address, the PALCO ID, and the social security number associated with your profile. I'm going to type in this information here. Make sure that you type in the information instead of copying and pasting, because sometimes copying and pasting will cause space issues. You'll have extra characters in there that do not belong. So make sure that you type in this information. Program representatives, if you are registering for PALCO's Connect, you will register for it via the participant's account. You will not have your own PALCO account or ID, and you should use the participant's email and their ID to register. As a reminder, a program representative who approves time cannot be paid as a worker. Everybody must have a unique email, and no one can share emails as well. So a worker and a participant cannot have the exact same email address. As I'm registering, I will put in my PALCO ID and then finish up with my social security number. Once you have put this information in, you'll click Not a Robot and you'll click Next. Here you will make your own password, and I will go ahead and create my password. And you'll need to type it in twice in order for this password to work. And it'll let you know if both passwords are not the exact same. Once you've done this, you can read the terms and conditions by clicking the link here. And then once you've read, click the checkbox. You can read the privacy policy by clicking the link here. And once you've done that, go ahead and click this checkbox, and then you'll hit Next, and that will complete your registration. Now, just to show you how to log in and out, even though it already logs you in upon that first entry, I'm going to go ahead and log out and log back in. And there I have logged back in. Now that I've logged in as the worker, I can enter my time in using the time entry option here. When I click on time entry, it will bring me to a screen that allows me to select the pay period in which I am going to enter time for. The most current pay period is always going to be at the top of the screen here, and is probably going to be the one that you will select. You can also select the pay period by clicking on this drop-down box here. Again, the most current pay period, the one that we are currently in, will be at the top of this list. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this pay period. And as it is loading, and when it loads, you'll see the time or the days in which I will be able to enter my time. A couple other things as this loads. Just if you are using EVV, and you are clocking your entries in using EVV, whether it is via the app on the phone or you're using telephony or IVR, those shifts will import daily for the previous day. So please allow 24 hours to see your shifts load up here. If ever a shift does not import or you forget to clock in and out, you can always manually enter that via Connect. If you are using EVV and you are not exempt from EVV and you're not seeing your entries in here, you can add time. So as you can see here, you can add time by finding the day in which you worked, clicking on add time, and then from here, you'll need to select the authorization or the service in which you are providing, in this case, the personal attendant services, and you'll get this red warning sign. This will only appear if you are not exempt from EVV and will be using EVV for the future. Warning, this authorization requires EVV. Any changes will result in an exception. Currently, as we're going through a transition and everything and going through the first few payrolls, there will be some leniency on these exceptions, as the important part is just getting our time in. So when you're inputting your time and you are not exempt from EVV, we'll go ahead and put that time in here starting at noon, and we'll say that that shift was 3 hours, so ending at 3 p.m. or so 3 hour shift here. And in order to add this, you'll need to provide an exception reason. Right now, you can list any of these exception reasons if they are the reason for you entering your time into Connect this way, or you can just select other reason not listed. So we're going to say there's a mobile device issue, it's not working, and we'll click add. If you are overlapping with another worker who has an entry occurring during this time, you'll get a warning that says that this is unable to do so. So you must correct this entry. All right, it was my mistake. I came in on the following day for this time. So on this day, I need to change my time. So we'll cancel and we'll change some things up. So this person came in at 4:30. And left at 6 p.m. So let's add that now, and you'll see that that time has been added. It will also include that exception reason. And you can edit any of these times as long as you are given the option here. You can delete this time if you want. Maybe that wasn't even the correct day that you meant to put that in on. Maybe it was Friday. You can edit this again and change this, or you can delete this time altogether. I will also show you what it looks like for someone who is exempt from EVV. So displaying on the screen, it's the exact same situation that we ran into. So Thursday on March the 14th, this person came in at 8 o'clock in the morning and left by 11 in the morning. And as you can see, there's no exceptions to fill in here. So if you're exempt from EVV, you will not see those exemption reasons there. And you can just simply add that time in. And as you can see, it's listed here as done. So now let's enter in a couple more options for this person. So let's go ahead and add this time in on the following day. Select the service that we are providing. Again, we'll get the notice about the EVV exception. We're going to say that this person came in at 6:15 on Friday, and they left at 8:30. So you change this, selecting your time here. Add your exception reason. Again, maybe we forgot to check in and out on the application. So we'll add that. And you'll see that this time has been added to the timesheet. There's tons of flexibility again right now with EVV. If you're having issues with EVV or your application or clocking in using telephony, we can get a resource consultant to contact you, and they should be able to help you with that. So now that we've entered our time, and maybe that is all the time that we are submitting for this service period that goes from March 11th to March 24th. This is all the time we're going to work. And we have looked over everything. We've worked these 2 days. We're sure that this is right. We'll scroll down to the very bottom and we'll click Submit for Approval. Now, before I click yes on this to submit for approval, just want to make sure that we've added all the time entries that we've needed to before we submit that. If we're not sure, we can always cancel and review that once again. But if we're sure in this case, we can click yes, and that will submit that time for approval for the employer to log in and then review that time and approve that as well. One thing that we always suggest for submitting timesheets over to approval is to wait for the end of the pay period or for your last shift in a pay period to submit your time over for approvals. All your entries will be saved in there, and you don't need to approve them each single shift. You don't have to approve each single shift. We recommend waiting until the end of the pay period. So if I'm approving this, I'm going to cancel real quick, and I don't work any on the 24th or have any more shifts up until the 24th, and I've completed my last one, I can go ahead and submit for approval. Or, better suggestion, just wait for March 24th here, the last day of this pay period, and remind myself to come in here, submit everything for approval. So I'm going to go ahead, click Submit for Approval here, click Yes. And you'll see that the status of this timesheet has changed over to under employer review. A notification will be sent to the employer letting them know that this timesheet is available for them to log in to connect and for them to review and see that as well. If the worker were to log back in, they would be able to see that this timesheet is still under employer review here as well. And just keep an eye on that, on those statuses. So I'm going to go ahead and log out as the employee, and I'll show you what it looks like on the employer side when I log in there. So we're going to log in. With our employers sign in. And we'll see a few more options that pop up at the top, allowing us to do many things. But for now, we're only going to focus on the time entry portion of this. So we're going to click time entry. And we do so, we notice that we have multiple workers here. If you are an employer of only one employee, it will go straight to the next screen. But if you have multiple workers, you'll see this screen and you'll need to choose exactly which one you're wishing to approve time for. So in this case, we know that Jim's is the one that we need to approve that time for. So we're going to go ahead and click on Jim. And we know that it is for the current pay period. So we will select that pay period from the top. As it loads, I just want to remind everybody that program representatives will be using the email and ID of the participant to log in here to approve time. And as this is loaded, you'll see that here's the timesheet that we just worked on as the employee, but now we're logged in as the employer. So we'll click on this timesheet. And we will review the time that has been put in. So we can see that they put in their 2 shifts that they worked on Thursday and Friday. We can see that it has the exception reasons in here. Everything looks good with the times and everything like that. So we'll go ahead and scroll down to the bottom. We've got a couple different options here. We can either choose to approve or reject this timesheet. If we click reject, it will display a screen here where it says, hey, you're about to reject this. Please give us a rejection reason why you would do so. Maybe they put the wrong service type in there, or maybe the time that they put in there is incorrect and they worked more hours or fewer hours than they listed. When you select that and click yes, that will then send this timesheet back to the employee. They'll get a notification through their email, and they'll also see the status change for this that says needs resolution. When it's a needs resolution, the worker can go back in and edit the time and make sure to make any changes that are necessary. But in this case, we're going to go through and we're going to approve this timesheet. It gives us that warning screen again. You're about to approve this timesheet. Clicking yes will approve that timesheet. Now, once you've logged in here and see that the status is under Palco review, it's changed over to under Palco review. If the worker were to sign in and see the timesheet, they would notice this status change as well. And they can keep up with those status changes until that timesheet is paid out. Once Palco reviews it, it will go over to approved for payment. And then on the payroll date, it will show paid. And that is how we do the time entry process for the West Virginia Personal Options Program with Palco. Thank you so much, and I hope you learned something from this presentation.